Hi, I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style, and I want to talk to you about how to wear a scarf if you are more busty, you have a larger bust. Because one of the things with a scarf is it can provide extra bulk, which is not something that if you're busty anyway that you may want. So one of the things to actually really think about is the type of scarf you are choosing. So ideally what you want is something that hangs small or hangs finely, sits close to your body, because that's not going to add extra bulk. So something like this, which is very small and easy, to wear like this, but it's very flat against my body, so it's not adding any extra bulk to my bust. So it's thinking about things like that. So that is the easiest way in many ways, because when you find something like this where you put on and suddenly you've got all this extra fabric that's sticking out from your body, then it's too large, it's too big. One of the things I often recommend with a scarf like this, particularly if it's wide like this one is that you actually maybe divide the scarf into 2 or even 3 scarves, rehem it, maybe give the other ones away to friends, and have a narrower scarf, because that's actually going to allow you to not add bulk and extra volume to your body if you don't want to. So that is something to do if you've got a really wide scarf. If you don't want to make it smaller, why not think about tying a little knot like that in it? You can see it starts to remove some of the bulk and it kind of slims down the scarf, but it's still quite a bulky scarf. One of the things I often like to do is if I take a square scarf or sometimes a shorter rectangular scarf, I'll tie 2 ends together and then I create an infinity scarf from it. And you can adjust that, but really this is a silk chiffon. You want fabrics that really just drape well and puddles, and so they pull against your body rather than being stiff and standing away from your body. Now, as far as scarf tying techniques go, I've done a video on that which I will link to, but there's lots of different ways of tying scarves, and one of the easy ways is to take your scarf, hold a short end and a long end, take it around your wrist, around the back of your head, swap those 2 ends over, and then that creates a flatter knot that's higher up rather than something that's over your bust so much. The longer the scarf, the better for this in many ways, because otherwise it can become too bulky. So you can do that with any sort of scarf. I can do that with this one too. Any long scarf, take it round your neck, short end, long end, around your wrist, around the back of your neck, then swapping the 2 tails over and then pulling that tail through. You can see that that creates a nice little plait knot effect. And then sometimes too, when I'm thinking about maybe I have a neckline that's not so great, so I might have a high neckline or something, I can use a scarf to loop around a bit, and maybe by leaving it a little bit looser, it kind of gives the feeling of a little bit more neckline. Now, what can often happen though is that starts to slide and you end up with a really long bit and a short one, or you feel choked. So if you bring one tail through, it just doesn't move as much. So they're just some little easy things to think about when you are choosing a scarf if you're more busty. It's really about not adding too much bulk to your chest area. So sometimes some of the scarves you see where you'll see them tied and they're very voluminous in the chest, maybe they're not the best ways of tying a scarf. And in many ways, sometimes just having it long and open like this creates 2 vertical elongating lines through the front of your body, which actually will help to make your chest look smaller if you want to do that. And so that is just another thing to do. You can just have it like that. You don't actually have to tie it around in any particular ways, and there's millions of ways of tying scarves. But when you're more busty, just think about how thick is a scarf, how much does it stand off your body, because we really want one that sits flat against your body like this. So I hope that's helped you understand a few more ways of scarf tying, particularly when you are busty.